Now to a local story that's received national attention. A Northern Kentucky student's fight over the chickenpox vaccine. The Northern Kentucky Health Department said that Jerome Kunkel couldn't play basketball or even go to school because he didn't have the vaccine. That after a chickenpox outbreak started at his private Catholic school in Walton back in February. Yesterday, a judge decided against an injunction to let Kunkel return to school. 9 on your side's Paulo Suro met with the Assumption Academy student today about what will happen next.
Instead of being on the basketball court, 18-year-old Jerome Kunkel is fighting a legal battle against the Northern Kentucky Health Department, which argued that students not immune to chickenpox stay away from Assumption Academy, which has had active outbreaks since February. Kunkel says he won't get the vaccine due to religious reasons.
The 2005 Vatican statement says, the use of these vaccines with aborted fetal cells in them is morally wrong. It's always going to pose a moral issue.
A Boone County judge ruled against Kunkel and his attorney, Chris Wiest, who's representing a total of 25 students, Tuesday. But now the two are appealing.
We don't believe the health department met its burden. They had the burden to prove that they used the least restrictive means possible to further a compelling governmental interest, and there's been no proof of that.
But Mary Parker, who used to be a teacher's aide, argues that everyone should get the chickenpox vaccine.
As soon as you are with a large group of people like that, it doesn't matter if you don't believe in it. It's something that you should protect everybody else.
She says the vaccine came out after she got chickenpox, but says that otherwise she would have gotten it in a heartbeat.
Especially with chickenpox, the older that you are to get it, it's really dangerous. Like if somebody like my age got chickenpox, it's deadly.
I believe it's not a deadly disease. My whole family, lots of my family, they had the chickenpox and they never died from it. I seem perfectly healthy.
Wiest says they have 20 days to have their appeal filed and says they're already working on it. Paulo Suro, 9 on your side.
Back in court, still ahead tonight, the tri-state man accused of a deadly prank in Kansas appears before a judge again, the life-changing decision that he made.
Pay to play. 2 big suspects in a college admissions scandal have their day in court.
I'm John Mattery's inside Kings Island with a 9 on your side sneak peek of all the changes you're going to see in a few weeks. It's coming up on 9 on your side.
A North College Hill man is now pleading guilty in a deadly swatting case. That's when people use the internet to place fake 911 calls in order to get an emergency response. 19-year-old Casey Viner pleaded guilty to conspiracy and obstruction of justice. Police say he convinced Tyler Barris to make one of those fake 911 calls. That led to the death of Shane Gaskill in Kansas. Viner became angry with Gaskill while playing an online game. Barris was sentenced to 20 years in prison last week. Today, 2 Hollywood stars are in court for their alleged involvement in a college admissions scandal. Investigators allege Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin paid an admissions consultant to get their children into elite universities. Loughlin and her husband stand accused of paying $500,000 in bribes to get their 2 daughters into school. Huffman has been charged with paying $15,000 to allegedly have an SAT proctor correct her daughter's test answers.
The preliminary report on a Boeing jet that crashed in Ethiopia last month will be released tomorrow. Ahead of that new report claims that the pilots followed Boeing's procedures in the moments before the deadly crash. The Wall Street Journal is now citing unnamed sources very familiar with the probe supposedly. The paper reports despite following the procedures, the pilots were unable to regain control. Boeing 737 MAX planes remain grounded all around the world because of safety concerns.
So does this warm weather have you excited about Kings Island? Consumer reporter John Mattery gets an exclusive sneak peek inside the park at all the new rides, updates, and other surprises you will find this spring. Speaking of spring, let's go over to Steve. What's going on?
Well, we finally cracked it. We're back over average, and we're going to continue trending up here in the next few days, but we do have some rain to show you. I'll give you the timeline on that and give you the really warmer weather ahead for the weekend.
All right, here's a sure sign that it is finally spring. Kings Island is reopening in just 17 days.
That's hard to believe. 9 on your side's John Mattery today got an exclusive look inside the park at all the things you'll see, from a new ride to some throwbacks to the 1970s. John.
We are here inside Kings Island with less than 3 weeks to go before opening day, and so we got a sneak peek for 9 on Your Side of all the changes you're going to see when you come to the park this year.